Welcome to What's the TVV? I'm your host, Sue Jones. With Veterans Day occurring this month, we wanted to get a sense of what it's like to serve in the United States military. So we're going to talk with 4 of our City of Victorville employees who have served in the armed services. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course, thank you for having me.
It's wonderful to have you. Why don't you start by telling us a little bit about what you do for the City of Victorville?
I work in the code compliance department. I'm a technician. It's a supportive role.
So, Sarah, what do you like best about working for municipal government?
It does allow me the opportunity to interact with our residents. We need that feedback to make sure we are moving in the right direction. So I appreciate that. Also, one of my favorite things are our city events, because that opens opportunities to, learn our residents on a more personal level.
So what would you say your least favorite thing is?
It can get challenging. I know there are a lot of concerns. We have growing concerns throughout the city of Victorville, throughout, most cities. I think just trying to explain the process that sometimes these things take time. I know that everybody like to see these things resolved the same day, but that's just not the reality of how things work.
Well, it's kind of interesting to think about how you now serve your public, but you also served your country. Tell us a little bit about, why did you join the military?
I wanted to serve my country, be a part of something great, and have something to be really proud of. And I am still very proud of my military service. I do look back fondly. But also, there's a lot of perks that come with being a veteran, stuff that I have access to now. The GI Bill, for my education. I got to travel, a lot of these places I would have never otherwise had the opportunity to visit, let alone live. Again, there's a lot that they do for us after we separate. The VA loans, I still have my life insurance through the military. So definitely a lot of positives that come with serving your country.
And what was your occupational specialty?
I was security forces in the Air Force, and then I eventually cross-trained to combat arms maintenance. That all falls under law enforcement.
What did your family and friends think about your decision to join the service?
My mom wasn't thrilled. My dad, on the other hand, he's a Navy veteran. He was very proud, so he was really supportive and reassured me that, Mom will come around. She's just worried, and she did.
One of the really challenging things everybody in the service goes through is basic training. What was that like for you?
I was actually late my first day. My recruiter got the day that I was supposed to check in late. I remember my recruiter calling in the middle of the night, like, "Where's Sarah?" And, my dad's like, "We're not leaving until tomorrow." But he's like, no, you were supposed to be there today. We got over there the next day. There was a handful of us that just had the dates wrong, and we got ripped into. That wasn't fun. We got ripped into and an example made out of. I remember just the first couple of weeks, it's just chaos. So it is definitely a challenge, both mentally and physically, but again, also rewarding, because you come out of it with structure, discipline, confidence.
What would you say some of the greatest challenges were in basic?
I think the toughest part for me was just being away from family. I left right before Christmas. So to celebrate Christmas in the barracks with my flight versus being at home with my family, that was definitely one of the most challenging things, was just being away.
And thinking about yourself when you made it to graduation, comparing yourself to when you started, what was the difference?
I definitely came out of it a lot more confident. There's a lot that you develop just from military basic training. There's a lot you learn. You learn survival skills. You learn how to work with people that you may not like, but your life depends on them, and you learn to trust them and work with them and depend on them. So you do come out with a sense of confidence, self-awareness, and a lot of pride. It's something to be very proud of, because it's not easy.
What would you say is your proudest moment?
I have a few things that I'm proud of. I was a color guard, so I got to protect our colors. I got chosen for a security detail for Air Force One, and that is something that I share what I can, because that is something that I was really proud of, to be recommended and got an opportunity to serve in that security detail to protect Air Force One.
Did you ever think about like the difference between yourself and what your friends and family were doing and reflect on that a bit?
I have a sister, and we're just a year apart, but it'd be funny to kind of write letters about how we were spending our day, because she was in school and here I am burying claymore mines and, sleeping on rocks and like having to learn, wilderness survival. So it was a very funny to just kind of the contrast in our days, and we were only a year apart.
Are there things that you had, like either habits or skills you developed in the military that now continue to stay with you and influence your life now?
I do not like to be late. It's like drilled into your head. If you're on time, you're late. I will always put my sheets in a 45-degree angle. Definitely learned different organization skills, to be quick. And that was the whole thing, be quick to find things, keep things organized and neat. So I am still a very neat person. I've always been in a position where I can serve my community, where I can help those around me. And I think I've carried that from my military service on. Is just, so how do I serve my community? How do I serve the people of Victorville? My neighbors around me. Just something that you learn with military service is to serve those around you.
And if you had a chance to give advice to young people thinking about going into the military, what would you say?
Make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. Learn a lot about your branch and, where you decide to go. Learn about the job. There are so many jobs. It's so many civilian or military jobs that translate into the civilian world. So make sure you're doing something that you can take with you should you decide to separate. Just make sure you're ready for that commitment, because it is, and if you are, it is a rewarding way of life. Like it really is rewarding to be a part of the military.
What message would you like to say to your fellow veterans?
I'd like to say thank you for your service and all you continue to do. We have to protect what we have here. We're proud of you, we're rooting for you, and we're thankful that you are making this sacrifice to protect, the U.S. and the citizens.
I want to say thank you to you, Sarah, for sharing your perspective and your experiences, and thank you for your service to your country, and thank you for your continued service to the city of Victorville and bringing all those talents to bear here.
It has been my pleasure.
Our next veteran is Edward Amaya. Edward, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
What do you do for the city?
I'm the Homeless Solutions Coordinator for the city. I basically coordinate, oversee the Wellness Center, our outreach team, and some of the other programs that we have to help the unsheltered residents in the city of Victorville.
You guys are doing a great job.
No, thank you.
Working for a local government, thinking about that, what do you like most?
I think the autonomy that we have here, the support of the leadership, and just really the city and our other partners, being able to work with them and helping people. We see it on a daily basis.
What would you say your least favorite part of working for local government is?
Some of the red tape, but I think we do a pretty good job. That it's part of the process. I work for the county, and I retired from it 25 years, so I understand we have to, dot our I's, cross our T's, but sometimes, but we pretty much are able to work through it.
I'm sure you developed a ton of skills in the military that you translated into your career. Why don't you tell us, why did you join the military service?
I think in high school I started thinking about it, and I played football too, and I think just seeing the teamwork, and the recruiter, of course, came and did a good pitch. It was Air Force, and so that's how I signed up.
What did you do in the Air Force?
Loaded planes. It was aerial port specialists, and basically the big C-5, C-141, C-130, loading them.
And then you continued on and went to the reserves?
I got out, and then I joined the Air Force Reserve, and then made my way to the Army Reserve, and I was able to get a commission, officer candidate school, and stay there for about 19 more years, and retired as a major in the Army Reserve.
What did your family and friends think about your decision to join the service?
My parents, they're immigrants, and we didn't know too many. I didn't know too many people that were in the service, but they supported it. It's what I wanted. I wanted to do something different versus, let's say, going to college or working and the experience. So, they're 100% behind it.
And one of the more challenging aspects, I'm sure, of joining the military is basic. How was your basic experience?
It's just like the movies. The drill sergeant comes on the bus. I remember pulling up to the building, the barracks, and sure enough, the drill sergeant comes on the bus and starts screaming at all the recruits. It was a good experience. I think it was 10 weeks, and like I always tell people, just follow follow directions, keep a low profile.
What would you say some of the more challenging aspects of basic training were?
I think initially getting, you're away from your family with a bunch of strangers. But once you get through that, it's just, you get into a routine. And once you get into that routine, you understand what it means, just follow instructions. And then, they make you do some tough stuff and things like that. But once you do that, just get your mindset right, you'll graduate.
How did you overcome the challenges of basic training?
To graduate, you just follow, like the drill instructors tell you, it's a lot of the head game. But once you get the mindset of that, and you get through it. And so just, you just keep a low profile and just do what you're supposed to do.
Edward, reflecting on the young man you were when you started basic training and so many weeks later when you graduated, how did you change?
When I came in, you don't know what to expect. And I think by the time I graduated, just in those 10 weeks, I was a lot more mature. Able to handle a little bit more stress, because that's what basic training applies to a stressful situation, to see how you react. And when you graduate, it's a good feeling because you've graduated basic training. So I think I was ready. We went to technical school, so I was ready for technical school and ready for the next challenge. But yeah, I felt pretty good and like I'd accomplished something worthwhile.
Did you develop skills being the plane loader and then going on into the reserves that you use those skills now?
Following directions and really listening. Back then, if you don't follow directions, you can hit a plane. The military instills discipline, integrity, and I try to abide by those every day. And working with people, the ability to work with people, that's huge.
Reflecting on your career, what are some of your proudest moments?
I would have to say my 2 deployments in support of global war on terrorism after 9/11. I was in Iraq with the Army Reserve 2008-9 in Balad, and then Afghanistan in 2012-2013 with the Army Reserve 2 in Kandahar. Those 2 tours, I think, culminated because I retired about 2 years after Afghanistan, 2015. So I think those culminated in all the skills that I picked up starting from the beginning. All there, I was able to put them to use in those 2 deployments.
Are there particular proud moments you want to highlight?
Iraq, just the mission we had where I was a major kind of in charge for the logistics for the base and being able, that was during the surge that happened in Iraq in 2007-8. And a lot of stress, but we were helping. We were a big part of that mission. And Afghanistan, we started drawing down in 2013, being part of that too, in Kandahar, being able in the operations center to work there and see how everything and tracking all the troops and convoys. That was very good.
Wow, so being in charge of logistics, you were making sure that the troops got what they needed.
Mm-hmm. The food, all the supplies ordered for all the units, everything they were doing, we tracked all that. So the life support of the base.
I think we often think about people out with the guns or, with the planes or whatever, but you don't really think about the basic needs of the human being.
Yeah, the warfighters, we support the warfighters. They were out there every day, but the logistics, they can't do it without having all those things to go out there. So it was an important piece of it.
Did you ever reflect on how your job or what you were doing on the military was so different than maybe what your family or friends were doing?
In Germany, I was there when I was 20, so that was really far away reflecting. But even during the deployments to Iraq, Afghanistan, you make one mistake there sometimes, that's huge. Not saying you make a mistake here, it's not, but you make a mistake there, especially when you're deployed, you have to be careful because the consequences can be severe.
So thinking about a young person who might be contemplating going into military service, what advice would you offer them?
I would tell them to do it. Get the job that you want because you can use it on the outside. There's a lot of good technical jobs, a lot of different jobs, but get that and just go get some great experience. But I think it's an experience of a lifetime if they use it wisely.
And thinking about your fellow veterans on Veterans Day, what message would you like to say?
I think this country wouldn't be where it's at with all the veterans I've supported, and just really thank them for their service. And if I can help, even in my capacity now, we try to help veterans here. It's always a privilege to do that.
Too often, we see veterans do become homeless.
Yes.
And it is wonderful the work that you're doing to try to help them find resources to stabilize their lives.
Thank you, Sue.
I'd like to thank you, Edward, for your service to our country and also for you bringing your talents to the city of Victorville and continuing to serve your community here.
Thank you, Sue.
Our next veteran is Emily Minot. Emily, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Tell me a little bit about your job with the city.
I'm a code compliance officer, code enforcement. I love my job. I've been doing it for 11 years.
What do you like most about working for local government?
I get to continue to serve the people. It's still serving your country. I serve the citizens of Victorville.
And I know with every job there's some challenges. So what would you say some of your least favorite aspects are?
When I'm out in the fields and I'm trying to explain something, I wish they could just get inside my head and understand the bigger picture. It's not just picking up trash, it's keeping the city clean. It's not just keeping your landscape done, it's beautifying your neighborhood and being proud of where you're at and your home.
Tell us a little bit about why did you join the military?
My grandfather was in the military, my father was in the military, and I thought, you know, what better way to join and be a master at arms in the military. So I joined when I was 17. I graduated from high school early, got my parents' permission, signed off, and headed off to boot camp. I joined the Navy as an aviation boatswain's mate handler.
What did you do?
There's different steps to get to an aviation boatswain's mate handler, and what they are, they're aircraft directors on the flight deck, pulling the planes on the flight deck with tractors, or you're crash and rescue, chalking and chaining the aircraft to the flight deck. So you're underneath these aircrafts that are moving and the jets are just flying around, and you're underneath there and you're throwing chains up and hooking the planes and tying them down to the flight deck. It's very exciting. It's very thrilling. I mean, 17, 18 years old when you're there, it's a team effort. It's not just you. You know, you have people holding on to you from the back so that you don't get blown by these engines when the planes are turning. It was amazing. Top Gun. Everybody's seen Top Gun, but the yellow shirts that you see up there, that would have been the job that I did.
So what did your family think about your decision to join the military?
My mom was nervous. My dad was proud. He was Army. He wanted me to go Army or Marine Corps. My grandfather was Navy. He was extremely proud.
So one of the more challenging things you're going to face in the military is when you go to basic training.
Yes.
How was that for you?
As a 17-year-old in basic training, I was scared, very, very scared. You go to this MEP station, you get dropped off on a bus. It's nighttime. There's people jumping on your bus and everybody's yelling, get off the bus, get off the bus. You go into a room, they start your processing. You're up for 24 or 48 hours at a time. There's a lot of things thrown at you, a lot of training right off the bat, medical. It was intense, but I got through it.
What would you say some of the more challenging things you faced in basic were?
There was a lot of running. You get shin splints, sleeping. You don't get a whole lot of sleep. They wake you up very, very early. You have watch duty, so you keep watch over everybody else, and it's on rotation.
Thinking about you facing all this as a 17-year-old, how do you think you overcame the challenges that you faced?
One day at a time. You miss home, but it's an exciting adventure. The teamwork, the effort, and the camaraderie that you get, and the friendships that you build from boot camp, it's amazing. It was really an amazing experience.
When you think of yourself as the young 17-year-old that started basic, and then when you made it to graduation, how did you change?
Definitely learned that you're not just an individual, that you can accomplish more with teammates. You build a bond between everybody. And when you're graduating, it's not just you graduating, you're proud of everyone that has graduated with you, and you're marching together. I can't really describe the feeling because it's you have to experience it.
Reflecting back on your career, what would you say some of your proudest moments are?
I think the proudest moment for me would be graduating, to be honest. I know there's so many different things that you do throughout your career that make you proud. I was overseas during 9/11. There's many things that occurred during that time that made me very proud to wear the uniform. But for me personally, it was graduating, because that was the first step to accomplishing my goals.
Did you ever reflect back and compare what you did and what your family did and your friends did?
My grandfather in the Navy, he was a gunner's mate, so he was on the battleships and he was behind the big guns. And then me as a ABH, there's so many different aspects to it. You know, when you're on the ship, you're the aircraft handler or chalk and chainer or whatever they need you to do. And then when you're on shore duty, you're firefighting. There's so many different aspects to it. And then my dad, he jumped from planes in the Army. So he has many stories. Each branch work as a unit. We need each other.
There's no branch that's better than the other. We all have a job to do. Everything from the storekeeper to, the captain of the ships. Everybody has a job, and working together to accomplish a mission is the key to all the military branches.
Are there, attributes or skills or habits that you developed in the military that you now continue to exhibit in your current life?
The first thing that comes to mind is honor, courage, and commitment. You serve your country honorably. You do it in your daily life. You do it with your family. You have the courage to just continue on the day-to-day, whether it's good or bad. And commitment. Be committed to what you do. If you're a mom, if you're, a secretary, if you're code enforcement, firefighter, just be committed to that job and do the best that you possibly can.
Thinking about young people considering going into military life, what would your advice be to them?
Do it. We all have to answer to somebody. Why not do it for your country? Why not serve your country? And there's so many benefits to it. You'll enjoy it. It's challenging. It's exciting. You get to travel. You get to meet new people and cultures. And it's worth it. It's definitely worth it.
And thinking about your fellow veterans, what message would you like to say on this Veterans Day?
I thank each and every one of my brothers and sisters. I appreciate serving with them side by side. They'll always be my brother and sister to every single branch. Thank you for your service.
And Emily, I want to say thank you for your service, and thank you for serving your country, and thank you for bringing all your talents to the city of Victorville and now serving our community here.
Thank you.
Our next veteran is James Christian. James, thank you so much for being here. So you were in the Air Force?
Air Force reservist. Even though I was on active orders and active duty, I still belong to reserves.
What was your job you did in the service?
Cyber transport. So communications, network, data transport. So similar to what I'm doing here.
Yeah, so tell us about your job here at the city.
So here I'm the network admin. So anything that needs to be plugged in, anything for your phones, the network, the internet, that's all run through me.
James, what is it that you like about working for a local government?
Local government versus like working for big government or government entities, things that we do here directly affect the citizens of the city of Victorville. With the advancements and some of the stuff we're making changes for our IT infrastructure, we're providing this new library that's coming up. So I can see the results of my work directly affecting our citizens and bettering their lives.
Now, every job has its challenges. So what would you say you like least about working for local government?
It's always the red tape. It's dealing with the drawbacks of like being told no because of this law, or being told no because we have to fit into this certain category or the certain box. The waiting game sometimes. Those would probably be the things I'd like the least.
Why did you decide to join the service? Partly
was to serve. I always wanted to serve. When I was younger, I had taken the ASVAB test for both Army and Navy. When I was getting a little later in the years, I decided it was either now or never. So I joined the Air Force through the reserve program. And then the other part was to take advantage of the training and the possibilities and options that were available and afforded to you once you did enlist. So I ended up going with the Air Force because they have the built-in college, they have certification programs. So through that, I was actually able to get real-world stuff to help me on my career outside the Air Force as well.
What did your family and friends think about your decision to join the service?
They didn't like it. They were super skeptical. But we had other family members, both my wife and I, that were in service and had retired out of service. Communicating with them, talking to them, they were able to help kind of like guide us and provide guidance and as far as like what that's going to look like, what the routine looks like. Is it a good choice to go in now or not? So that really helped.
So one of the really challenging things everyone in the service has to do is to go to basic training. Yeah. What was that like for you?
It was unique because, again, I was older. I was not 18, 19. I was late 20s. And so it was really unique for me to go in because it was just like another day. I didn't struggle. The MTIs yelling and screaming didn't bother me. So it was a unique experience.
What would you say your greatest challenges were during basic?
We had a young family. I had 3 kids at the time, and I've never been away that long. And then on top of that, I went in early December. So I was gone during the whole Christmas season as well. So that was really rough.
How did you get through the challenges of basic training?
Just knowing that that was a short-term suffering for the long-term games, knowing I was going to get my Security Plus, knowing I was going to be able to enroll in the College of the Air Force, knowing that the benefits of my family long-term outweighed that short-term suffering.
Thinking about the man you were when you started and your experience at graduation, reflecting back, how did you change?
The empathy that I gained during my time, it was really shocking to see how many people in our flight that were coming in with these thoughts, like they're inadequate, they're not going to make it, they don't have any role models, they never learned respect. Like that empathy, that was the longest lasting impact or change from being in basic.
Reflecting back on your career, what are some of your proudest moments?
To be honest, just doing it and completing it, I was always told, like, you're not going to do anything, you're not going to amount to anything. So being able to say, yes, I can, and succeed and do well was probably my proudest, of just the fact that I was able to complete it successfully.
Do you have specific projects or moments that stand out to you that you'd like to highlight?
That we were downrange and we were on an airfield, and our satellite dish, the actuator on it broke during transport. So we set up base and we have no data. With just some JB Weld I had found, a pair of vice grips, and my phone, I was able to find the satellite in the sky, get us on track, get the satellite dish targeting and tracking, and restore communications back to the whole base. So for me, that was something that's showing that I can piece all these things together and do the job, but then later I was calling for it from command because I was able to get that done.
What are some of the skills and maybe attributes, the way you carry out your daily life that has carried through from the military to today?
Attention to detail, and then also just being able to understand things from somebody else's viewpoint. Being able to understand and put yourself into the other person's shoes there and see things from their perspective, that heavily helps in breaking down like communication barriers that are present in just business and day-to-day life.
While you were in the service, did you ever reflect or look at what was different about what you were doing and what your family and friends were doing?
Almost daily, right? Like, because all my other friends, they're doing their 9-to-5 jobs where I'm getting up at 3 a.m. to do PT training, right? And then I have to go work, and then while they're up at night, I'm crashing out at like 8 p.m. Or the fact that I'm in a server room somewhere and in full combat gear, working on a network switch, and I have other people who are in IT that I work with. They don't have that, right? They're just dealing with an IT switch in a nice air-conditioned room, and I'm in a box somewhere. So definitely thought about it quite often.
An interesting thing I wanted to ask you about is how important is the communication to the armed services?
Oh, huge. It's everything. The backbone for communications is heavy when it comes to the military, and any kind of lapse can cost lives. We have to have quick and precise and correct communications at all times.
Thinking about young people who are considering going into, a career in the armed services, what advice would you offer to them? Talk
to your loved ones, talk to your family. Really consider if it's right for you. You can come out of there with a degree, you can come out with an associate's, and if you do, use it as an opportunity. Travel while you're young, use it to see the world, get a perspective outside what you normally would see on your day-to-day life.
What message would you like to offer your fellow veterans?
Know that there's way more resources now than there ever have been. So if you feel like you're hurting or something's bothering you or there's a weight on you that you haven't resolved, don't go it alone.
I would like to say thank you to you, James, for your service to our country. And I would also like to thank you for bringing your skills and knowledge to the city of Victorville and now serving our community. Thank you so much.
Of course. I appreciate being here.
Thanks for listening. What's the TVV is produced by the city of Victorville. If you have a topic you would like to see on future episodes, leave a comment or review on your preferred platform.